All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Well, the final NFL DFS video of the NFL season. We're going to be breaking down the Super Bowl here for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I already did a preview video for the Super Bowl, guys, and honestly, not much is really going to change here. Kind of fortunately, I think we were able to put our best foot forward on that video. But that being said, maybe some slight adjustments due to some of the ownership changes that have occurred. But for the most part, to me, it's more of a straightforward slate. We have the Seahawks that are 4.5-point favorites. So ultimately, Vegas thinks that the Seahawks are going to win, and I would agree with that assessment. That's not to say the Patriots can't win, but based off of the lineup construction, I think we're going to be favoring a little bit more of the Seahawks. So, like, JSN to me is kind of just clearly the top choice on this slate, guys. Now, the question is whether or not we can afford to fit him into our captain spot, and that is definitely a question mark. I would almost rather get to Kenneth Walker in the captain spot and just kind of bank on him scoring a touchdown here in this game. Obviously, he's been really good for them thus far in the playoffs, and with Zach Charbonnet being out, he should still be a focal point in this offense. And now that being said, we do know that George Holani, who was a good call for us on the previous game, he is going to be someone that's going to be involved in the offense as well. He ended up playing 32% of the snaps in that game there against the Rams. I would expect the same workload. That's basically the role that Zach Charbonnet played, and as I mentioned, he's not that much of a drop-off from Zach Charbonnet. So I do like George Holani a decent amount. If you look at some of his props, a lot of his lines have actually risen as the week has gone on. I think his rushing receiving yards prop line is to 25.5 right now. So basically, you're looking at him getting 4 or so DFS points, which on a slate in which we're not really getting that much value, to me, that's a play that does end up making a decent amount of sense. So now, obviously, the question on this slate is whether or not we should be playing Sam Darnold. We saw two versions of Sam Darnold, one in which he didn't really have to do much there against the Niners, and then in the game against the Rams, obviously a bit of a shootout, he was able to go on and have a great game. I would argue this is a slightly better matchup, but maybe it's a tough matchup. Let's just put it that way. I'm not expecting him to have a massive game. I don't necessarily want to play him in the captain spot. To me, it's either Kenneth Walker or JSN are the two captain's picks, but really it's as simple as this, guys. You could just literally play all 4 Seahawks here, and then you're getting the top Seahawks plays. Now, a lot of people are getting to AJ Barner, I think, due to his price tag. He's kind of a cheap play that could end up having a good game. I don't necessarily love that idea. Some people are going to chase some production of Cooper Kupp or Shaheed. If you want to do that, kind of Seahawks DST you could get to. The Patriots offense has somewhat struggled here thus far this postseason, and so the Seahawks DST at their price tag, I would argue they're a little bit too cheap as well. But ultimately, I think this is the base setup that we want to be going with. We don't have to get too cute with it after that. And so go ahead and take a peek at the Patriots, guys. To me, they're much more difficult to predict, well, because that's how the offense is designed. So Drake May is going to be a play that a lot of people are going to try to get to. It hasn't necessarily been bad for DFS purposes thus far this postseason. 15.9 DFS points, 17.2 DFS points. But I also do somewhat worry here. I do. It's a matchup in which I kind of expect the clock to be running. I just worry that he is not going to be someone that puts up more of a ceiling game. He's a young player playing in the Super Bowl as well. If that matters to you guys, I would prioritize getting to a cheaper Sam Darnold, and I would definitely prioritize trying to get to JSN before him. Now, the issue is he's kind of the most predictable Patriots player. If you look at some of the prop betting sites, they have him at 15 to 17 fantasy points, Drake May. And so that seems pretty secure. After that, it really becomes a guessing game for them. Yes, Stevenson has played a lot of snaps, 70% of the snaps and then 92% of the snaps over the last 2 weeks in the playoffs. I like the idea of having him in the captain spot as well, just kind of banking on him scoring a rushing touchdown, and not many people are going to be on that. I don't mind that idea. At the same time, that is where a lot of his production is going to be based off of. Sure, he can get some work in the rushing game as well. And this is a game where I do expect him to get a lot of opportunities rushing the football. And so I don't mind him as a play. I just worry that he might be a little bit too priced up. I would rather get to Kenneth Walker, who has a higher ceiling. But again, if we're playing Kenneth Walker, I want to be playing Kenneth Walker more in the captain spot. And then we go ahead and take a peek at the pass catchers. So Diggs does have kind of the highest ceiling, I would say, and should have a decent floor here. He's been someone that's been playing limited snaps, which I don't necessarily expect to change. He's still going to play about 60% of the routes, about 50% of the snaps. I would expect that number could only go up. Hunter Henry, I would argue he's due for a touchdown. But really, my issue with the Patriots pass catchers is if you are playing them, they all make more sense as a captain's play. You're betting on them to score a touchdown because the production is very much random. And so Booty, I love Booty as a captain's play. I don't necessarily love him as a flex play. I love chasing the upside for him to have like a big catch and score a touchdown. But other than that, I feel like it's a little bit too risky. Mac Hollins is somewhat safe, I would say. Like he's kind of one of the cheaper plays that I feel comfortable getting to, as well as George Holani. And so Mac Hollins is like the receiver for the Patriots I feel the most comfortable putting in the flex. But again, I still like the idea if you're doing multiple entries, just toy around with playing some of them in the captain spot. That way you can play Drake May in a logical way as well, where you're stacking him with the pass catchers. So like Booty in the captain spot, Diggs in the captain spot, even Henry in the captain spot. You're trying to get unique. If you're trying to take down a showdown, you're trying to get unique. And I think that's a very good way to get unique. And then that way you can logically fit Drake May into a build. So I did a similar build like this for the first like build, guys. The issue that we have here is kind of who we're ending our build up on. This ends up being kind of a dead range. So to give you guys a first look build, maybe we get to Booty here instead, like playing Jason in the captain spot, then going Darnold, Walker, Holani, Hollins. It's an okay build, but that's just kind of the process of this week, is that you're not necessarily going to love how you're closing off your builds, which is fine. Now, what's interesting is when we go ahead and take a peek at the 9-to-5 lineup builder, guys, it is really liking going with Drake May. So Drake May in the captain spot, then JSN, Kenneth Walker, Cooper Kupp, Matt Collins, and George Holani. Not a terrible path to go, but I don't know if I necessarily like Drake May with Matt Collins. Now, Drake May can, do stuff, rushing the football, but ultimately, I probably would want to get to, if I'm having Drake May in the captain spot, I would want to get to Diggs, Booty, or Henry as well. Although I would admit that this is a nice high floor build. I really don't mind that approach. Now, total ownership wise, the top build would be May, JSN, Stevenson, Barner, Shaheed, Hollins, which is an okay process there as well. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys being here for this video and for the NFL season. Make sure to check out the NBA DFS videos as well throughout the NBA season. If you guys haven't, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Trying to get to 500 subscribers here. Like this video as well, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.